Here, you're ready for your dose of reality.
And I'm sitting here debating whether I'm going to show up or not. I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem, and we're just going to get it right out of the way. Royal Rumble 95 is a big, stinking pile of horse turd.
Well, you already see how he feels about this. Royal Rumble 95, actually has some significance here. This has actually some things that are very important for the wrestling history that we go on forward. Yes, we do. We're going to get into that.
I'm waiting to hear this. Because the only history I saw is, at least it wasn't WrestleMania 9.
This is very true. It's close.
And we're going to get into this here in a second, but this is really the odd time in the WWF. 1992 to 1995 is often seen by historians as some of the most god-awful wrestling ever indulged on the planet. And we've been diving into it. I mean, we go from this to WrestleMania 11 to a really, really god-awful King of the Ring that we've already covered that Mabel wins, to a really bad Survivor Series, which we are not going to bleach our eyes and watch. It's just a horrible year all the way around. And at least we're going to be at the beginning of it where people weren't so jaded that they didn't realize how bad it really was.
Yeah, so let's get into it here. This took place in Tampa, Florida, the USF Sundome.
United States football. For those of you who don't remember the USFL, be glad you don't.
All right, on commentary, we had Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler, 1995 Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler at this time was not all that great. He had a fascination with puppies, and he had a fascination with towing the company line. And one of the things he said during this thing was the two most popular stars of all time in the WWF are Bret Hart and Diesel. Diesel held the title for a year, some of the lowest buy rates in WWF history. Good job there, King.
And on Spanish commentary, we had Carlos Cabrera and Ed Trucco.
Yeah, they're fine. Hugo, he had taken a little time off, and they're fine. We don't listen to the Spanish announce. I don't speak enough Spanish to listen to it with any interest, and he speaks even less. So all he knows how to say is taco burrito.
That's right, yo te quiero. Yes. And on interviewer side, we had your favorites: Todd Pettengill, Stephanie Wynad, and Wyan, whatever.
Yeah, the last time we reviewed her, she was Stephanie Wyan. That was at the King of the Ring. But in this one, she was Wyan.
And we had the great Ray Rougeau in there. Barely. I think he just took a paycheck and said, I'm done.
Yep, and Todd Pettengill, this is when he was really awful and annoying, and people hated his guts.
And on the ring announcer side, we had Howard Finkel, the Fink.
Can't say anything about that.
And on referees, we had Dangerous Danny Davis, Jack Doan, Earl Hebner, and Tim White. Star cast there.
That was a good cast there. Tim White was one of the more well-known people behind the scenes. He was not as good of a referee as some of the other guys we've mentioned, but he was the one most responsible to get people to and from their locations when Vince McMahon was on his "let's fire Jim Ross" kick.
Yeah, now moving along, opening match here. Jeff Jarrett with the roadie taking on Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental title.
Ugh.
Wow, oh wow.
Yeah, I'm just thrilled. I'm not a Jeff Jarrett fan. Razor Ramon comes in the IC title, and this match was overbooked, to say the least. It's obvious that Vince Russo had his hand in this match because it was a really slow, plodding match in the beginning. A lot of slow, let's take a break here. Let's switch it up a little bit. And then it ended in a count-out victory. Well, the referee said the match will continue. I think it was the ref, because they didn't have a general manager at that time.
Correct. They did not have.
So
Jack Tunney was on vacation.
Yeah, Jack Tunney. Well, this would have been Gorilla Monsoon.
Gorilla Monsoon, yes.
But Gorilla would have been on vacation because he died in like 96.
Yes.
So Earl Hebner decided, I think it was Earl.
No.
I think it was Earl, because Dave came out of the suit. He was at the suit at this point.
Correct.
So Earl does the count out and then goes over to get with the referee and says this match will continue. So then we get another slow plodding match. The only thing nice about this is Razor Ramon sold the knee the entire time, and it was believable.
Yes.
But Jerk Jarrett wins the IC title in a 2.5-star match. This really is the match of the night, and it wasn't very good.
Wow, he's giving it a big match there. I can't believe that, Jeff Jarrett. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, I went with you 2.5. I thought this was a very solid match. I enjoyed it. I didn't like the whole restart, which seems to be a theme here in this. We'll get into that. But yeah, I went 2.5.
Yeah, if the referee is going to be the one that has to make the call of restarting, why did he count the count out first? He could have just stopped counting.
Reasons!
I'm glad you're back, man. Mountain Rock, we missed you.
Oh, you'll be seeing here. I got a feeling. Next match here, we had The Undertaker with Paul Bearer taking on Irwin R. Scheister, IRS, with Ted Dibiase.
This is the time in wrestling that was really hard to watch, so I unfortunately don't remember this feud.
It was. Oh, my God.
Apparently, somewhere along the way, Ted DiBiase, who's now retired, he started wrestling in the 70s, by the way, so it was time for him to call it quits. Opened up the $1 Million Corporation and somehow bought, contracted, whatever, the Druids.
Yeah. Could that be blood money since, like, reason?
So they came out for there. This is another one of those matches that Irwin R. Scheister, he kind of was getting to the point he was about time for him to retire. Undertaker was still doing the slow monster thing, which worked for him, but it was hard for some people to work with. I think they didn't have a lot of natural chemistry together. And we do get a couple of Druids who come out here who were not normally Druids. By the way, that was Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey of the Heavenly Bodies, and one half of the Blues, or the Harris Brothers, or Skull and 8 Ball, or whatever other god-awful names Ron and Don Harris were abominations with into the wrestling business. But Ron Harris was the other Druid.
Yeah, and The Undertaker whooped up on them, but then my Quack Attack came out here. And I got to see the man himself, one of my favorites from back in the days, making a return after 5+ years. King Kong Bundy came out there and challenged The Undertaker, and he gave him an avalanche right in the corner and put him down. And by the way, they stole The Undertaker's urn and all that.
That would be theft number 6 or 7. Kama's stole it. If Kamala's even stole it. Jake Roberts stole it. I will say this. Growing up, I was actually not a King Kong Bundy fan when I was a mark. But once I got into the business and discovered how good he actually really was when you look at it from a worker's standpoint, Bundy was awesome.
Yes.
Bundy was awesome.
This match I gave a 2 3/4 stars because of the Bundy appearance. I felt like without it, it would have landed me a 2. But it was great to see King Kong Bundy back then when it was live. It was still great to see him now.
Same thing. 2 stars for the match. Another star to see Bundy in there doing his thing. And it was the appropriate opponent for The Undertaker.
Yes. And now, moving along here, we have the WWE Championship. Bret Hart against Diesel.
Yeah, this is the aforementioned where the King said two of the greatest WWF superstars of all time was this match here. This was for the title from Diesel. You could tell Diesel didn't know what the hell he was doing. Sorry, Kevin Nash, you are a horrible worker in the ring. You may be funny when you get a chance to talk. You can't work. Bret Hart did what he could. This is another one. There was 2 restarts and a ref bump for the match to end in a double DQ. This was overbooked and then some. It goes back to the Vince Russo booking of the wrestling is secondary to everything else. I think if Vince Russo, his ideal show would be bears juggling clowns and a wrestling match happening behind it. And the bears are wearing lingerie.
Yeah, and this goes and gets my 2-finger salute. Not this match, not per se, but everything that happened before and after this match with Todd Pettengill. Todd Pettengill even had an interview with Diesel leading into this match, and he looked stupid there. And he had his interview with Pam Anderson showing off all the gifts from all the wrestlers. Yeah, even at the beginning when she came in, everybody was going gooey gaga over it. And then you had Todd handing her dress, looking like a prepubescent 13-year-old just got excited because he's seen his first projects of Hollywood. It was bad.
Yeah. I was figuring out what to spray. I'm not going to spray it because we might make Todd Pettengill smell better and the Pettengills might do something useful. The most useful thing he did was leave WWF, so I'm not going to help him along the way. But yeah, this match was way, way too long. It was another way too slow. The crowd actually lost interest at this point. Not a very good match at all, and it didn't showcase either very well. It really didn't need to exist.
Yeah, it was just garbage to help out to go pass up to WrestleMania 11. Also during this show here, we had our next match. We had the 1, 2, 3 Kid and Bob Sparkplug Hawley. Sparky, yeah, taking on Bam Bam Bigelow and Tatanka.
Yeah, this is for the vacant WWF Tag Team titles. Bart Gunn had gotten hurt, so he was unavailable and they stripped the titles. So Bam Bam Bigelow and Tatanka were members of the $1 Million Man Corporation, which I said in the past, putting Tatanka in the corporation was a very risky move by Vince McMahon, putting an Indian in the corporation. It didn't work. It actually hurt Chris Chavez as Tatanka, but at least it was a risky venture. I'm glad Vince took the chance. But Bob Hawley, this is in jest only. This is anecdotal. I haven't done the research, but Bob Hawley has won more tag team titles under different names than just about anybody else I can think of. Mm-hmm. He won it as Thurman Sparky Plug. He was Bob Sparkplug Hawley, and he won it as Hardcore Hawley.
And don't forget, he also won it as a new member of the Midnight Express.
That's right, Bombastic Bob.
We'll never forget that. Yeah, overall, it was a solid match for what it was. It was a good build-up during that time for the tag team titles. Something you definitely don't have nowadays about tag team champions. I gave it 2.5 stars. I mean, it was an okay match. I thought the best part of the match, though, was after the match. Bam Bam Bigelow ranting and raving at the fans, and then coming to talk to Lawrence Taylor. The great shove out of the seat.
That led us to WrestleMania 11, so I found what's getting sprayed.
Oh, come on! That's not my fault. I mean, Bam Bam and Lawrence Taylor at WrestleMania 11.
So this match, actually, the ending made absolutely no sense. Bam Bam is standing there, and Tatanka runs straight off into the ropes, runs straight into Bam Bam Bigelow, causing Bam Bam Bigelow to fall down and get pinned by the 1, 2, 3 Kid. And then Tatanka abandons him.
Yeah. Reasons.
Thank you, Man Mountain Rock. We appreciate you coming in to explain this match in minute detail.
Yeah, and speaking of all great stuff here, the main event! Oh, yeah, the 30-man over the top rope battle royal. And you wanted to ask me where significance was? It was in this match because this is where Shawn Michaels got his kickstart in his career.
Fair. He already was kind of a star at this point. His star was already rising. I don't think he needed to be the winner from the number one position, but I understand it.
Oh, yeah.
There's other significance of this match. This match with 30 people in it. 30 WWF superstars.
Bring down the names.
I was going to get to that in a minute. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Hall of Famers. That's it, folks. So you're going to get some of the blips on the radar. So you say you may still remember them, but in wrestling terminology, they're a blip on the radar. And here we go. Starting right off with 2 of our 6 Hall of Famers in positions number 1 and 2. Shawn Michaels and the British Bulldog.
Hall of Famers.
Then we get Eli Blue, Duke the Dumpster Droese, Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey, Head Shrinker Sion, who was the Barbarian and had several other names along the way.
Who needs to be in the Hall of Fame, by the way?
Dr. Tom Pritchard. Doink the Clown. Now, this is not Matt Bourne. This is the other idiot who I didn't take the time to look up his name either, but he was the one who thought it'd be a good idea to turn Doink into a baby face and walk around with a clown that everybody wants to punt. Quang.
Savio Vega.
Rick the Model Martel, someone who definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
The Rocket Owen Hart, who because of his widow, he will never be there. Timothy Well. Bushwhacker Luke, who is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Jacob Blue, who's already been on the show as a druid.
Druid.
King Kong Bundy, amazingly not in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Mo. Mabel. Bushwhacker Butch, who is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Can you give us the hero song? I want to hear it. It's Lex Luger. I need your hero. And then it's then it quickly goes downhill because now we have Mantar, the Portuguese man of war Aldo Montoya, who is a great guy in real life, but this was a crappy gimmick.
Yeah, thank you, Just Incredible.
Henry Godwin, Hall of Famer Billy Gunn, Bart Gunn, who now is recovered from his injury.
Yeah.
Bob Backlund, amazingly not in the Hall of Fame.
Still holding out, wants to come back.
Stephen Dunn. Dick Murdoch, also not in the Hall of Fame.
Amazingly so.
Adam Baum, the last Hall of Famer. Rikishi, or as he was, Head Shrinker Fatu.
Yes.
And Crush, who was this time Great Crush.
All right, we had Great Crush in there. Yeah, overall, this was just kind of flat for me. Yeah. I went 2 stars because I love the Royal Rumble. This is not one that I recommend if you haven't seen to watch. If you really want to punish yourself, please do so.
Yeah, to give you an idea, we kind of made the observation that this is one of the few Royal Rumbles that it was every 60 seconds, and that's because they knew the talent out there couldn't hold 90 seconds or 2 minutes, so they only had every 60 seconds. And I tried to keep up with the order of elimination and who was eliminated by who without having to look it up on Wikipedia. But right about the time that Quang jumped in the ring, they all started jumping out at the same time, so there was no way to keep up with it. So it wasn't even worth it. Shawn Michaels won. I even gave it 1.5 stars because this was really just, as you say, this is the cherry on top of the shit sandwich.
It really is. I mean, but don't worry, things will get better here because I know we've watched such a horrible Royal Rumble. I'm not going to tell you how much better, but we're going to take a look at this one.
Oh, I have not seen this one.
Oh boy, well you're in for a treat. And so are you next time.
I'm now losing confidence.
I said it was better. I didn't say by how much. Tune in to find out our exact feelings on this. I'm Dr. Quack.
And I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem. I made it through because I care about you.
See you guys later.